Hello, everyone. I am super excited to be welcoming you to this panel where we will be talking about global ad creatives. Excited to bring together a panel where we have people from all areas of the world joining us, North America, Latin America, and Europe, to just talk about ad creatives, how things have changed as part of IDFA, and how strategies are changing. Super excited to introduce you. So to head off, I want to introduce Alisa. If you want to give us a quick introduction.
Hi, well, thanks for having me here. I'm Alisa. I'm head of operations at Paintgun, and Paintgun is a mobile acquisition agency slash a tech company. So we've been helping startups and app companies for the past 5 years, and I've been with the company for about 1.5 of it. Yep.
Awesome. And Alexa.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here. I run the programmatic channel at Electronic Arts, and I previously was at DraftKings, which is like a sports betting and daily fantasy sports company. So like a lot of experience in the kind of gaming space.
Awesome. And last but not least, Maria.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. Finally, I'm María del Mar. Right now, I'm the growth manager at Superfüds. We are the largest supermarket of wellness here in LATAM, and we are helping to help to the emerging brands here in LATAM to distribute their products throughout the region.
Awesome. And to give a quick introduction to myself, again, I'm Olivia. I am the LA chapter president for SpeakHer. My day job is working as the director of marketplace and operations at Nike Valiant Labs, where we do everything from growing awesome new products within the Nike organization to building apps, all the fun stuff of a app startup within a large corporation. So to kick off, I want to talk a little bit about creative strategy. So in some words, how has your creative strategy changed in the last year with the changing landscape and IDFA? Alexa, do you want to start us off there?
Yeah, so I would say that the focus has shifted to testing out very different concepts versus just like slow iterations in order to get like more signals behind what's actually working.
Awesome. Alisa, how about your team?
Again, much like with Alexa, testing a lot of different concepts, what we realized is with the less opportunity of personalization, we are just a little bit zooming out and just going into, I wouldn't say generic, but we're just trying to be a little bit more general with the content because we don't really know who we can really address and track, at least for now. Hopefully this will change in future.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like a big challenge right now, but I think we are all going back to, like making the priorities of the company and the communication, actually what we want to communicate with the brand and prioritize that in order to actually test out different concepts. But I think the most important thing is to have really clear vision of what the brands actually wants to communicate in order to prioritize that and be a little bit more general because we don't have the opportunity to be very specific right now. But yeah, I think it's important that we test out different types of communication, but having always like in mind the priorities of the communication of the brand.
That's great. And in testing all of these new strategies, is there creative that you have that has yielded better LTV versus CTR? And which is a higher priority for your teams right now? Alisa, if you want to start us off.
Sure. Well, for CTR, we've seen a really good performance among MEMATs. And this is especially good because I mean well, for CTR, it's the meme ads, and for LTV, it's more like video ads, about 10 to 15 seconds long, and it's pretty self-explanatory because the meme ads, they're short and very quick and catchy and interesting for people to click on those and just get to know, while the longer videos, they give more message and more information about the product, so have better results when it comes to long-term lifetime value.
That's awesome. And from your perspective, Alexa, since you're on the gaming side, I know that's might be a little bit different for you.
Yeah, so I typically see the highest LTVs for playable creatives, which does make sense for the mobile gaming space. Whereas I'll see higher CTRs on video ad units. And then being on the performance marketing team at EA, our goal is LTV. So really it is trying to push that. I would say that like for some initial creative testing, CTR might be something that we look at. But of course, like mainly focus on those down funnel events.
Awesome. Maria?
Yeah, from our side, actually, we have seen that like short videos and super like interactive videos have really good CTR, but in terms of LTV, we have these like, since we are a wellness supermarket, we have like really specific products, like that have a description that it's not like well known for everyone. So, for example, we have, I don't know, like a mix for pancakes that is completely organic or that is completely vegan. So actually those products that have that are like different and that have these specifics are actually doing better in terms of LTV, and are actually like not videos at all. It's just the image showing these different products in the market that are actually having like our best results in terms of LTV. So that's a really like yeah, it doesn't like, for us the CTR, it's important, like we take a look at it, and videos are actually taking that, but in terms of LTV, getting to explain to the customer or difference in the market, these like with these type of products that are not massive or are not like a well-known brand, it's been helping us a lot to increase LTV.
I think that's super interesting how each one of you have slightly different creatives that are, there might be total opposite from each other, but they're all kind of yielding the same result for each of you. So that's super interesting. Let's jump a little bit into coming up with these ad creatives. So would love to hear each of you talk about kind of your ideation process, whether you guys use in-house teams, rely on agencies. What is kind of your creative process when coming up with these new creative ideas? Maria, if you want to start off.
Right now, since we are like on a very early stage, we actually have the possibility to do everything. We are doing everything ourselves, like 100% in-house, and we have like a session first off with marketing. Within Superfüds is actually in charge of all like brand related. So we have a session with them, but we also have a session with like different areas of the company, because we have found out that sometimes the best ideas or the like creative challenges comes from other teams. Like sometimes you don't think that actually the operations teams is going to give you great ideas, but they actually do. So we have found out that actually having these sessions with other areas of the team is really helping us to build like a calendar that makes sense for everyone, and a calendar that actually prioritizes like our needs in our business needs. So actually we do that, like everything we do 100% in-house. And what we do is like we have a first session where we do like the big concepts with marketing, but then we have different sessions with different areas of the teams. So we have like the big picture and the priorities, and then we create a calendar that then goes along with all the execution through the different channels.
That's awesome. Alexa, how is it working for you on the programmatic side, seeing that you're part of this huge team that has a lot of resources?
Yeah, so I would say that both creative ideation and production is a split, right? So it depends on the different studios. So of course, EA is comprised of many different game studios, and so it depends on their bandwidth. I would say that slightly more of the ideation is in-house, But like, so, and a lot of the more of the production is through external agencies. Our UA team, our performance marketing team at EA is a little bit newer. So this is something that obviously will evolve over time. And I would say things that like playables, for example, that require like a more special skill set may always lie outside.
Mm-hmm.
That's super interesting. And Alisa, your team is that agency that operates. So what goes into the ideation process for you?
Well, we've developed this process actually, where we have our internal core team of the creatives that is assigned to each of the clients that we have. But one thing that is important for us is we've developed a process that we call Ads Incubator, which is we create ads every week, and then we run those and ideate which ads are best performers and get learnings from these ads. But and so every week we have a big ideation session that's planning ahead on what we'll be producing for the next week. But something that is very important is we do have our own internal creative teams assigned to each client, but just like universities, like they have the main faculty and also the guest lecturers, we actually have guest freelancers that are joining our team every week. This could be on recurring sometimes or just one time joining in for a specific project. But these freelancers and the creative people that join, this actually guarantees one thing. They bring fresh ideas. They always supply fresh ideas. With this, we have always great new ideas coming in. But at the same time, we have our core team that also supplies the learnings that we get from the clients with the every weekly tests. And with time, this guarantees a pretty well-performing product, but they're also very new and very interesting for the account and for the market.
That's awesome. And do you find that really hands-on creative approach is very appealing to the clients that you're working with?
For sure. We've seen that. We've been trying this and many other strategies for the past few years, and this has proven to be the best one because this is really just where the craziest ideas come from. And recently, of course, like differentiating in the market is very important, and the crazy ideas are getting more and more popular among different clients. So yeah, this is the greatest strategy we've had so far.
That's awesome. And Maria, along the same lines, you mentioned that your team, you often work with a lot of the teams outside of the marketing. Do you find that is driving greater results with your creative as well?
Yeah, because I think actually from our type of market, it's super important that we are all aligned. You know, like for example, I don't know, if we receive a new product, we need to know exactly what we are going to say about that product, making sure that the ingredients are okay, because we cannot say something that it's actually, if it's a product, it's not vegan, and I'm saying on the communication that it's vegan, it's going to be a problem. So we actually need to be like super aligned within all the teams, and it actually has worked for us. We have a calendar that it's basically created alongside marketing. So we have like a growth strategy within that, like what we are going to do for acquisition, what we are going to do for CRM, but then marketing goes in and help us. And then operations needs to know that we are going to do that. So in order that all the, all the deliveries are done in time and are doing correctly. So actually from my side, I think it's been super useful. And also because sometimes like these people knows exactly like what's going on a day-to-day basis. Talking to the clients, we have like the B2B clients, so they are talking to them every day, and it's like an insights all the time, so we are getting this information exactly from the source, and that it's really helping us to be like more creative in terms of like seeing opportunities where maybe we haven't seen before, because we are like fully focused on marketing, and sometimes you need to hear like ideas from the outside. We've been told a lot of rules or things that we need to follow in order to get the best performance. So sometimes you need to like think outside of that box and maybe just go straight to the source and take that insight from the everyday, from the day-to-day like problems or issues that we have. So yeah, it's been really helpful for us.
That's awesome. So jumping in a little bit to KPIs and how KPIs drive ad creative, would really be interested in hearing from each of you how much KPIs play a part in really driving the creative direction. So Alexa, being in gaming, obviously that you have a very data-heavy space. How are KPIs driving your creative development?
Yeah, so they drive everything that we do. Obviously, just trying to have the most efficient creatives possible, while also staying on brand. So it is like the one thing in terms of like our creative production where you might have an ad that does really well, but if it doesn't really like display the brand in the correct way, then obviously we won't continue on that.
Awesome. Alisa, in you being in this space where you're working with a lot of different clients, I would imagine that data is big for you as well.
Uh,
How are you using it?
Yeah, definitely. Data, I would say, is like plays. I mean, not to exaggerate, but I would say even like close to 100% of importance of for us. We've developed this system like which we call Prism, which basically, simply put, it's a database where we collect every single small data that we can of each of the assets that we make, and then we track this performance of these assets. So I imagine we make 10 assets per week, and then which adds up, and we have 60 variables per assets that we measure. By the end of the month, we have around 3,000 pieces of units of data that we actually measure for account, and basically KPIs, all of this included. So we combine all of this into learnings, and then this is basically the data that we have to analyze and to improve on the further performances. So I would say we're just extremely heavily, just like I believe there is no other company that is not doing this. We're extremely heavily reliant on data very much.
That's awesome. And Maria, I know you touched on it a little bit, but how is the KPI and data playing into how you develop ad creative?
Yeah, I think it's the most important thing. Sometimes also I think it's like a big challenge, to go straight with the branding campaigns and like be true to your brand, but also making sure that the numbers are making sense. So it's been a really big challenge right now, but it's one of the main focus of growth. Like every decision that we make is mostly based on data, and also I think right now it's very important to be aligned, like also on the historic performance. Like the only way to make decisions and to actually come up with plans is to actually taking a look at the numbers and understanding what's going on. So for us, yes, it's completely important. And right now it's a challenge since we are like building like the data structure and how we are going to take a look at the numbers and everything. It's really cool because since we are on an early stage, we can start like from scratch building exactly the data that we want to see. And sometimes it's incredible how you can start also like teaching the rest of the areas to take a look at the same way as we do, because in growth it's like everything, it's CPO, the CAC, and you start to think like this, and it's amazing how when you start like applying these to the rest of the areas, it works pretty well. So I think it's 100% related. Like every decision we do is 100% related to data. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And in a quick pivot before we close, I want to talk a little bit about memes. We've been seeing a lot of memes hitting social channels lately, just given the landscape and people just wanting to laugh, but they don't always work and they're not always part of everyone's creative strategy. So would love to hear from each of you guys if you are using memes, and if so, how are they working for you? So Maria, if you want to start us off.
So here in Latam, like memes are everything. So basically, we come up with memes every day. I think we are like in an always changing landscape. Like it's not something that it's written in stone the way you have to do things. So that's amazing because you can start like having these new strategies. So from our side, we have been doing like different, like more interactive waves, not like such like a meme itself, but more on a like interactive way, being more informal. We've seen like companies here in Latam, the SMS and push notifications, like the more funnier they are, or the more like the joke and the gag, their CTR is better and the conversion is better. So actually, we've been trying to do a lot of these, not specifically memes, but we are doing like interactive questions, doing a lot of like we give like advices, or we do like a lot of jokes, like, okay, so this day you can send this to your girlfriend or to your boyfriend, and we're trying to be like more informal. Like I feel like the traditional stuff and the traditional way, it's like it's not being relevant anymore for the consumer. So I think it's important for us to see it as an opportunity, and to start testing out these different like interactive ways to get to the customer. So yeah.
Awesome. Alexa, do you guys use memes at all in your creative strategy?
No, we have really strong IP at EA, so we really focus on leveraging that. I will say that, like, on the note of informal creatives or more like silly ones, definitely our Sims titles. That's something I do a little bit more of. I wouldn't necessarily call them like meme creatives, but definitely something with like a little bit more of a storyline, and something where we can be like slightly maybe more silly than we would be for some of our other titles.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. I've seen a lot of you guys is creative with The Sims, and it's always funny to see.
Yeah.
Alisa, finishing up,
Yeah.
how are you guys
Yeah.
using memes with some of the clients you have?
I have to say we've been doing memes for some time now, and some of the learnings that we got from memes is that those are not the best ones for all the accounts, and even very often we would come across clients that would like the first idea that would be like, this is a perfect account for memes, and to our surprise, actually, the memes would not really be performing better in it, like compared to the beautifully made perfect ads. One thing that we've learned so far is that memes are actually very good for the accounts for the companies or the products that have shorter funnel, because when more steps are added into the funnel, the memes are not really very, like, these are very fast tools to use to utilize. So for longer funnels, I would really not recommend those. Another thing is that what we've seen is, it's a very controversial thing actually. Very often memes are performing very well for the accounts that do not really fit for memes. So here we have the conflict between the brand in general and the actual performance results that we're aiming for. So we've had great memes, but the brands, they need to decide their risk tolerance, I would say, towards taking the reputational risk of using memes in the ads. But I just would want to end up with just closing this and saying, with breaking one stereotype, that memes, by thinking that of meme advertisement, a lot of people think that it's the crappy and extremely easily made ads. I have to say these are not easy to make at all, because the essence of memes is actually to be as authentic and as organic as possible, and not sounding marketing and salesy is extremely hard in that sense. So trying to create this imperfection in these ads is actually has to be perfect as well in order to perform very well. So these are as well thought as the perfect ads. I have to say, I had to bring this up because I've seen this as a stereotype and misconception in the industry so far. Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally
Yes,
agree.
definitely. It's super hard to create like a good meme. It's not an easy job, so I
Yeah,
think it's a big challenge for everyone here.
yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Well, we are at the end of our panel. I want to thank all of you lovely ladies for joining us here today to talk about different ad creatives and how we're all using them in this changing landscape, and also as we just anticipate all the changes that all of the platforms are bringing. And hopefully this is helpful for a lot of the people who are here watching today.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for this space. It was fun.
Thank you. So.